Hi guys, if you are a Nigerian, you need to watch this video. I want to talk about the 7 foods you must avoid because eating these foods can result in a number of chronic issues. It can result in high blood pressure, kidney problem, diabetes. It can result in cancer. So you have to cut back on your intake or avoid eating these foods. Number 1 is GMO. Now, believe it or not, there are GMO in Nigeria. And then what is actually GMO? Well, it stands for genetically modified organisms, and they are foods that are produced through biochemical recombinant DNA technology. Just the same way we have DNA, plants also have their DNA, animals have their own DNA. So how they produce this food is that, let's say there is plant A and there is plant B. Plant A have the ability to resist pest and disease, and plant B does not have the ability to resist pest and disease. So what they are going to do is that they are going to identify the gene that is responsible for that trait in plant A and copy that gene and transfer it to plant B, making plant B having the ability to resist pest and disease. In that way, they have successfully created genetically modified plants which can resist pest and disease. Okay, now some studies have shown that eating these foods can result in cancer, it can result in liver problem, it can result in inflammatory related issue, it can result in allergic reaction. And some of these foods in Nigeria will include some maize that are genetically modified, some cowpeas, your beans, as well as wheat. Most of these foods are genetically modified and we do not actually know about them. Some tomatoes as well are genetically modified. All right. Now the second food on the list is butter. Butter is actually not good for your body. Now the thing is that butter is very high in saturated fat, which can raise your cholesterol level. We're talking about the LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol that has been linked to various issues in the body, including high blood pressure, including cardiovascular diseases, as well as type 2 diabetes. Okay, so if you've been eating butter before now, I will actually advise you reduce your intake. If you cannot totally avoid it, cut back on your intake. And then there is margarine, which is a processed food that is designed to taste and look similar to butter. Now, when you look at your vegetable oil, it is usually liquid at room temperature. That is because of its unsaturated fat. But food scientists changes the chemical nature of this oil, making it more solid at room temperature. This process is called hydrogenation. They actually do this by adding hydrogen atom to the chemical nature of this oil that makes it look solid, makes it harden. So eating this food can actually raise your LDL cholesterol level because it is very high in saturated fat. Now the most interesting thing about margarine is that it is high in fat that is way more dangerous, that is way more toxic than saturated fat, and this fat is called trans fat. Okay, so sometimes you may look at the label of all of this margarine and you may see that they will tell you that it does not contain trans fat, but the truth is that it actually still contains trans fat. So I would actually recommend you avoid this food, not even to cut back on your intake. You have to totally avoid it. All right. Now, next on the list is refined carbohydrate or refined sugar. We're talking about bread, white rice, pasta, crackers, cereals. All of these foods can create spikes in your blood sugar level. When you eat these foods and you measure your blood sugar level, let's say after 60 minutes, you are going to find a huge spike in your blood sugar level, and this spike is followed by a sharp fall, and that sharp fall is going to result in fatigue. It's going to increase your cravings, so that is going to make you to look hungry. You are going to start eating again, creating cycles of craving. And then alongside with this, it also can result in high blood pressure. It can destroy your blood vessels. It can result in inflammation. It can result in obesity because most of these sugars are actually being converted by your liver into fat. So eating this food is going to make you to have obesity. It's going to make you to have fatty liver. So my advice is that whenever you want to eat your carbohydrate, eat it in a very little amount. And if you have diabetes, avoid all of this food at all costs, as they can worsen your condition. Number 4 is to avoid foods that are high in salt or sodium. Eating these foods can actually cause water retention in your body. It can make you to have swollen feet and swollen hands, which can result in high blood pressure. Okay, having high levels of sodium in your body is one of the leading causes of high blood pressure. So what I will actually advise is that you start eating foods that are rich in potassium, like vegetables, spinach, there is broccoli, there is broccoli sprout, there is cabbage, there is cucumber, there is cauliflower. All of these foods are going to help counter the effect of sodium. Now, next on the list is to avoid fruit juices. Now, many of you may think that fruit juices are high in vitamin C, but the truth is that when you look at fruit juice, you will actually notice that it is pasteurized. It has undergone pasteurization. It has undergone through extreme heating. And we all know that vitamin C cannot resist high temperature. So during this pasteurization process, it actually destroys the vitamin C content. So basically what you have left in fruit juices most of the time are actually sugar. And when you drink it, that is going to shoot up your blood sugar level. It's going to make you to have blood sugar spikes. It's going to make your blood sugar level look like a roller coaster. And if you have diabetes, drinking fruit juice is just going to worsen the whole situation. So avoid fruit juices, and instead of drinking pasteurized fruit juices, you can actually make your own at home. That is much better alternative. Alright, number 7, which is the last thing on the puzzle, is deep fried foods. Now when you cook your carbohydrate or fat, most especially like frying, when you deep fry it at high temperature, a very unhealthy compound is actually formed, and this unhealthy compound is called advanced glycation end product. Now this compound is very inflammatory. It can increase the levels of free radicals in your body. It can make you to have a cancer, because free radicals most of the time can result in cancer. It can result in heart issue. It can result in your arteries being narrow. It can result in high blood pressure. Okay, so avoid eating all of these foods which I just shared with you in this video. They are not good for your body. If you cannot avoid them, cut back on your intake. All right, thanks for watching.